3 points of political debate tonight. Renuka Chaudhary represents the Congress point. Nawab Kazim Ali of the BSP represent the Mayawati government point. Nalin Kohli is being fielded tonight by the BJP. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Nawab Kazim Ali, why this police Raj kind of attitude? This arrogance? I mean, you know, you have farmers here who are questioning the compensation they have been paid. Are you so much with corporates? You know, are you so much with the corporates that you will carry out this lathi charge? You know, you will arrest any political leader who dares to raise a question. I mean, for God's sake, the argument is that the farmers have a right to question the rate at which they were asked to sell the land. If the rate is 4 times more, the Mayawati and your government should be with the farmers. But you're with the corporates. Why?
See, Arnav, there are 2 issues here. The first question you asked about, regarding the police. You know very well that no individual in our country, as per the constitution, can take law in his or her hand. And the law enforcement agencies are right there to make sure that nobody does that. So that is one issue. The second issue is regarding the compensation. The Land Acquisition Act was framed by the Government of India through both the Houses of Parliament. And the guidelines and the norms, the rules and regulations are being followed totally as per the Land Acquisition Act. It is not the state government who has some kind of a hatred for the people. In fact, the state government has always worked for the benefit of the people. But they have to follow certain rules and regulations which are laid down by the Government of India. And every state in India has to follow the same rules.
You can't force feed that.
No, nobody is doing that.
No, you can't force feed
nobody.
that. You know, these issues will come back to haunt. You know what happened in Bengal politically with the Singur project. That project had far more strategic value for West Bengal than this project of the JP group. But it was the position the West Bengal government took which came back to haunt it. I want to get Renuka Chaudhary into the debate tonight. Is the issue of compensation? Is the issue of response? Or is the issue of a greater acquisition, you know, this whole Land Acquisition Act? What's the real issue you're protesting, Renuka Chaudhary?
What they do not possess, the state government, is sensitivity. You know, I am so amazed that the chief minister there can afford to be so insensitive to the farmer's lot. And this is nothing new for Mayawati ji, and it's nothing new what's happening in UP. It's been happening for the past few years. This is probably the last straw on the camel's back. They can go blue in their face and talk till the cows come home. But the fact of the matter is that this government has sold out to the corporates and they have locked every deal on land there. It'll be interesting to know who are the faces, not the obvious ones who come forward, but behind them, and why they have to be so desperate to fire at our own farmers. Farmers are the people who feed us, right from the chaprasi to the chief ministers, up to Rashtrapatis. And that we open terror, we gun them down, we massacre them the way we are attacking them in UP, and think that you can get away with that. It's horrifying. It's horrifying that unarmed farmers are being shot at, and the police are out at full strength and attacking these unarmed, helpless people because they're standing up for their rights.
Okay, it's an unusual situation. I will give you full time to respond tonight, but to the BJP, Nalin Kohli, can also be argued that you are playing a role in sort of fueling the fire, Nalin. You know, you can make a point, but you cannot.
Well, I find it fascinating that you call it fueling the fire.
You cannot create political drama over the issue. There's a sensitivity to the situation.
No, I think it's not a question of political drama. And I think we need to look at it in perspective, Arnab.
Yes.
The first fact of the matter remains that, 60 to 70% of our population, directly or indirectly, is absolutely associated with agriculture. It may be declining in terms of the GDP, but that doesn't mean that the population itself is devoid or moved away from agriculture. Second is, I think, in perspective of the farmer, the land is their most absolutely valuable asset. The concept of Matrabhumi, I mean, it's like their mother. Now, you have already on your channel, it's clear that, you know, the land prices that are being spoken about are abysmally low than what the prevailing market rates are. And the reason is that if you look at it, that essentially, why are the aspirations of these farmers and their future being mortgaged at the altar of corporate interests? Why is the state government so eager to get into land acquisition for any particular corporate house? Basically, it's becoming a nexus of what may be seen as officialdom, touts and corporate entities, and hitting out the future of the farming community. That's one part to it. The second part to it is this: basically it's speculative. The land development is good, that you may have a road, excellent, but the land around that development is going to become priceless, and if people want to really have a share of that growth and their aspirations are around it, why should they be denied? Now, there was talk about earlier in the program the Land Acquisition Act. There are amendments to the Land Acquisition Act which are still pending, and we are talking about annual about 2%, so that they have a continuum in terms of stake, in terms of selling their land and getting returns for it for a substantial period of time. The second part is getting plots for their own residents, and the third part is getting plots in a commercial area so that they can have income. Now, that itself is pending in Parliament, and it's not been presented in Parliament, I beg your pardon, because it raises question, why so far? The last is about fueling fire. I mean, look what's happening. I think we have a fascinating welfare state in Uttar Pradesh, where, you know, statues take precedence over the actual rights of people on related to the land or on the streets. So I think Mayawati government really needs to be looking at the welfare of people rather than setting up memorial parks.
You know, Kazim Ali, question here is this. I find the response of the Mayawati government very interesting, your government. On Banda, your government refused to do anything. 3 weeks the media reported the story before the UP police decided to do something. Now, one second, let me complete. Recently, you know, the government tried its best to protect this BSP MLA who's been convicted for killing somebody because he didn't pay money to contribute to Mayawati's birthday party. You know, your Mayawati did not take a position on that. There was no aggression that was shown of the kind. But when it comes to the farmer who is saying, look here, you're taking away my land at 1/4 the cost, the might of the Uttar Pradesh state has suddenly reasserted itself. Now, I find this response extremely strange. Some would say, Kazim Ali, that it's politically suicidal. It raise questions that does the government stand up for the common man, or for Arunima, for the Banda rape victim, for the engineer who has been killed by a BSP MLA, or does the government, or does the government only stand up, Uttar Pradesh government stand up only for a corporate in the middle of a land row?
See, Arnav, first tell me, I mean, every show that I'm on your show,
yes,
you bring up several issues.
Yes.
What are we debating on? We are debating on the Land Acquisition Act and the plight of the
but the
farmer.
response of the Uttar Pradesh state machinery, that's what we are debating.
No, are we talking about the Banda case? Are we talking about Arundhama?
We're referring to it.
Several others.
We're referring to it.
All of it.
You are relating a series of issues. A series of issues exist in Rajasthan. A longer series of issues exist in Delhi. Yeah. So, I mean, we are here to debate on a certain issue, right? So let's just restrict ourselves to that. I can talk to you, I can debate with you at ours
Kazim Ali,
on several issues.
I said what is the hey, 1 minute. No, Kazim Ali, I must come in here.
Okay.
I made one second, Kazim Ali, you must allow me.
Let me
make the point. My point is simple. I've said what is the response of a state machinery, and Kazim Ali, with all respect, and you know how much respect I have for you, you know, I began this discussion by saying that what is the response of the Congress government going to be in Rajasthan, or a BJP government going to be in MP. In fact, the question which is on the ticker right now is saying this, that do political parties respond differently when it comes, depending on where they are in power. So I think that, you know, you got this drift wrong, but yes, please.
No. See, the thing is that we must understand this entire drama which has taken place, or which has been, I should say, sponsored by the opposition parties, is because UP goes to assembly elections in the year 2012. It is not a fight between the government and the farmers. There is no such fight. The farmers are being used as tools by the opposition parties, by the opposition. Like Mr. Shivpal Yadav just said earlier, I just heard it, but I couldn't see the visual, but I just heard him saying that the Chief Minister should give a resignation. Has he forgotten when his brother was the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh and a similar agitation had taken place? What did the Mulayam Singh government do for that? Did the Chief Minister give a resignation? Or Mr. Rajnath saying,
No, no, it's a
saying that
question
if
is of
I was the Chief
sensitivity.
Minister, I would have resigned.
Okay.
I would have resigned.
No, no, okay.
I mean, they're talking,
So,
they're talking on double standards.
Yeah, sure,
Like
but
you
Renuka
rightly
Chaudhary-
said, the,
No, no,
the
one second.
opponents, the political opponents,
Don't make
are
it
talking
political.
About, I mean, they're talking
No,
on
no,
double
don't make
standards.
it political.
Of course.
You know,
Don't make,
See,
no, no, but
Mrs.
I'll ask you,
Chaudhary,
Renuka
Mrs.
Chaudhary.
You know,
one minute.
Chaudhary
Renuka
said
Chaudhary, I have to ask
that
you
the
something. Ms.
Mayawati
Chaudhary, I have to ask you
government
something.
is
One minute.
insensitive.
One
Let
minute,
me tell
one
you
minute,
where,
one minute,
how,
one minute.
how she come to the conclusion that she's insensitive.
1 minute, 1 minute. You see, Renuka Chaudhary, you know, 2 points to you. Rahul Gandhi visited farmers in Aligarh, went to the Prime Minister, said intervene. Prime Minister said we will take up land acquisition issues in the winter session of Parliament. I don't know if anything has happened. Secondly, you say of sensitivity. Where is the sensitivity in Jaitapur? In Jaitapur, you have your state government pummeling through because we want to build a nuclear park. There'll be no change. People can come, people were shot at, one person died if I'm not mistaken. You say that is political. So, you know, sensitivity has different definitions, Ms. Chaudhary.
Adnav, to get back to what the gentleman was saying earlier, you want to discuss Jatapur nuclear plant or do you want to discuss the UP farmers row?
Linked issues.
All right.